Hi, I am back at it again. But there's a good reason why. So I wanted to explain because I'm slowly coming to again, kind of making a little sense because of my cycle has been extremely heavy this week and it's taken a toll on me. I'm not taking vitamins or anything, and I should be, and so it would be helpful. Anywho's, besides all of that, the reason why I'm making these videos also is because, to be fair to my students, along with teaching, because I'm a teacher. And so as I'm growing and learning and trying and practicing and this, that, and the other, it's only fair for me to be sharing this with my students. And so it's not just for my students, but anybody who watches my YouTube video, because that channel is educational for free, and all that. So I'm trying to help however I can in any way that I can. These topics is, like I said, because I am a teacher. And so people want to kind of know, okay, well, who am I learning from? What is their belief? What do they, things like that. And so I'm going to go ahead and get into it. I have previous videos that I have made, and it goes with this video. But really quick, for me, I've never labeled myself. It has been practicing, but I'm not a strict label of this is what I'm practicing, or I'm practicing this, or these few things, It's never been a set label for me. When I was a kid growing up, my parents chose for me to be Catholic. My dad's, of course, family, they were Baptist, some of them. And so they wanted us to be Baptist, but my mom's side and dad agreed because he liked the moral aspect of it and certain other aspects as well. So for him, he was like, let's go ahead and go with Catholic. And so he really looked up to my grandma, which is my mom's mom, or adopted mom. And he really looked up to her because she was one of those type of ladies that was always, she went like even into college, even into her like 50s, 60s, like she was going every year. Like she had already done all that, but she wanted to keep relearning. And she was like a secretary or something for the chemical plants, and her husband was in the Navy, and I mean, it was like, they were known and everything in the town. And, but anyway, so he really looked up to her because of her smarts and everything. And so I always, had a great connection with Grandma, too. But unfortunately, she passed when I was 10 years old. Same year, I think it was the same year that my brother did, if I remember correct. Or it was, I know they were very close when it happened for both of them. And they were like, I was really close to both of them. And that's what made it so devastating for me at that time. But anyway, and that really changed my path. That's when the start of a lot of changes happened. But anyway, so as a kid, that's what I was. Growing up, though, I always yearned because there was something with like the spirit world and like other things were catching my attention. And I didn't know that I was a medium. I had no idea of any of that. And so, especially at that time, because there wasn't really help or anything provided. And that's why through the years, more and more with the technology and people like TV shows and different things, helping to spread awareness and to help be like, hey, maybe your child is going through this, let's help them, and that's what I try to do, or I will be doing for sure too with my mediumship courses, because it really impacts children and they need to know that they have a love and support system, and we help the parents kind of give them that, like what they can do and, things like that to help their children. So they're not alone, but anyway, so I didn't know any of that. I was going through all kinds of paranormal things growing up. And so for me, at that time, I had no idea what to choose. I had no idea. I was just like, well, what about this Wiccan stuff? What about, some other paths? But it still didn't feel right for me. I'm like, well, why am I always the oddball? What is wrong with me, And I'm still like that to this day. But, and I'm even hearing too, like I lead my own path. And a lot of us are doing that these days too. So I don't have a set type of thing that I do. I did do some spirituality. New Age, whatever you want to call it. Because I'm trying to learn and figure, like I said, what do I do? How do I do it? And that, again, is coming up for me again today. But yet today, what coming up is relearning, refiguring things out and all that. And I'm realizing more and more that there's so many things that's been in the spiritual field, the spiritual and Christianity and this, that, and the other, that just doesn't fit my heart. It just don't. There's too many division. There's too much separating and so snobby that it's like the heart is so closed. Like, basically, if somebody doesn't believe in Jesus, for instance, for Christianity, for some, not for all, everybody has a different branch, everybody has different beliefs, this, that, and the other. For some, though, it's basically like, it's kind of like this righteousness, I guess you would say, type of thing, where it's like, if you do something wrong and you don't believe in the Lord and you don't ask for forgiveness and you don't this and you don't that, then you're sinning and you're a bad person and I look down on you, I'm above you, blah, 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 blah. But if you ask for forgiveness and this, that, and the other, then, then I'll accept you. Okay, why not accept the person the whole time? Do you not see that is blocking off the heart? That is... just stop and think about it. Use your head, use your heart. Okay? Just see where that goes. Just do that. All right? Disconnect for a second, just for 1 second. All right? Take away that I have to steadily believe in something that teaches me and tells me that this is how it is and this is how it's going to be. And that I will follow this and I will follow that. Just disconnect it for a second. All right? You can go right back to it because you're going to. All right? Please, go right back. All right? But take a moment. 1 moment. That's all I'm asking. 1 moment. And just stop and feel, think, and feel. Disconnect. Okay? That's not there right now. All right? Use your humanitarian side. Be a human. All right? For a moment. Not being told what to do. Not being led what to do. All right? Use your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings. Okay? And you will see what I'm talking about. Just do it. Just do it. Pause the video. Do it. If you've got to. All right. Now, spirituality. They have flaws as well. Basically, it would be like, I am manifesting wrong, and there's some sort of karma dharma on my path, and blah, blah, blah. Like there's always something, again, that has some sort of way of disconnecting, separating, and this, that, and the other. Because basically then it's like, okay, if the person's got that bad of luck and this, that, and the other, ooh, get away. Okay? No. And it could also be they're a medium or they have a harder path like a medium, the energy healer, this, that, and the other. We have harder paths, okay? And we have paranormal stuff on top of it. And we have other factors as well. But, oh, no. God forbid. That's not real. Because my faith and my belief is number 1. And I am safe and protected at all times. Okay? So, if you want to stay there, congratulations. Great job. But let's come back down to earth. Let's go to reality land. And let's realize that there are other forces outside of the unseen too that we cannot see that is happening as well. All right. So that can mess up somebody's path as well. All right. So it's not just a fact of karma, dharma, manifesting, and this, that, and the other. For spirituality purposes and all that, and other reasons. Blah, blah, blah. All right. So there's other things besides Christianity, spirituality, blah, 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 that's like that as well. You can break it down for yourself, whatever you practice or do, but just stop for a moment and bring out your humanitarian side. Just please do that, okay? Use your heart and use your head. Don't let what others are telling you, don't let what you think that you know tell you, like, step out of a box for a minute and just try something new. Experience and learn something new, okay? I promise you it's going to help you. And that's what I'm going through right now. So now back to where I'm at. Okay, so that's, now you can see where, as far as my past choices, That's what I've had to go through too. I've had to, because, it gets you snotty. It really does. You get really snooty, snotty, snobby, whatever you want to call it. You're going to get a bath when you can. Sorry, that's my son smacking his hip. And so basically, he's distracting me. I knew that was going to happen. As soon as I'm off of the cycle, I should hopefully be able to think clear again. Yes, little man, you're going to get a bath. I hear you. I know. I acknowledge you. He is angry. I will get you a bath. I can't get a bath right now. All right. So, I don't remember. I know that I'm going back to where I was, and I apologize that this basically had happened because my little man, he don't know no better. He don't know, like, okay, mama's making a video, so I'm going to go ahead and wait, for her, or I'll give like a sign or however, because every family has a thing that they do of how they're going to do videos and, things like that. So anyway, but I'm at that point again because the past few years, it's been really, really heavy on me trying to figure what to do. Because it's like nothing. I just looked up and it was 11:11. I was guided to see that. But it's like basically there's a change going on. There's something for me to update, add, figure out. He's going to make noise. Give me a second. Sorry, I got totally distracted. I don't remember. I remember where I was going at with it. It's just I don't remember exactly what I was trying to say and all that. So I apologize. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of changes and a lot of things that are coming up. And it's like, oh yeah, that's what I was saying. That it's been a few years that it's been heavily changing. Like I'm trying to figure what it is that they're guiding me to do. And there was, whenever I made the video earlier, and I was talking about like positive things, like spirituality type things, like, but on the bright side, that even though we might go homeless, but the bright side of this stuff is I'll be learning and this, that, and the other, and like the things that I was saying. And I was like, that is some weird energies, but the rest seemed more positive and enlightening. And I was like, that is what caught my attention again. I was like, hold up a second. So when I was talking chill, more on a grounded, practical level, and then when I started mentioning positive things, that was like, well, it's leading towards an enlightening type of way, blah, 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 the energy changed. What's up with that? So that's where, again, I know that, because unfortunately, I know my twin soul is guided by his false guide. And it's the same exact one that I was just sensing with what I'm just talking about right now. And I was like, oh, that's not good. Because that's got me questioning again, do I need to remove it? Because I was outside, and I know that there's things out there too. And so maybe there's something there that needs to be released and removed and all that, and that maybe has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Or is that energy catching my attention, and it's like, there's something more to this to pay attention. That maybe certain aspects of spirituality, because I have always kind of questioned, maybe is actually a little bit dark, whether we think it's innocent, pure light or whatever. You see, so regardless of what we do, there's always going to be a pure, innocent love and light, and there's always going to be a dark. So, you just got to figure all this stuff out. And so that's where right now, with all this questioning and stuff that I'm going through, that's where I'm like, okay, they're getting my attention for sure. There's something going on. So it's either something mediumship wise that I need to work on and then get back on my path, or there's some sort of learning about this path that I need to be like, okay, hold on, there's something going on, pay attention. All right, let's solve, figure it out. What do I do? All right, do I need to adjust? Do I need to just say, you know what? I'm going to add some adjustments to this and let's try this out. I don't know, but I do know, because I've been thinking about this again lately, actually, the more that I think about it. That, and I'm trying to pay attention to this and learn it, like they say, balance. Balance is key to everything. So, what I've realized is that if I lean too much into the light, it attracts the dark, because you're off balance. If you lean too much in the dark, it can, but not every time, but it can bring in the light. So that's where it's like, if it's balanced, because what I've realized too is that when you're like, because again, with me being a medium, when we're working on releasing, cleansing, removing spirits, whatever that's going on, it's like when we're, okay, yeah, let me say it that way. Well, that's an example too, but like how people try to manifest and this, that, and the other for that type of purpose. It's like, I noticed that the energies and everything, because of what we're doing, I'm like pulling a blank right now. And I've been thinking of this past, like I said, until I get off of this cycle, I'm going to be hindered right now. And it's frustrating because I can really feel like it's like, I know that I'm supposed to be talking about this, but yet this hindrance, I'm like, Anyways, I apologize. I know I was going somewhere. I know you felt it too, probably, but like I said, I'm in, out, and so I'm being guided, but I'm also like, because of the cycle, it like, I hear it, and then all of a sudden it gets to the point, oop, let's stop it, and then it's like, just back and forth. So, anyway, there's something to it. I'll have to just write it down one day is what I'll probably do, and I'll do that too anyway, as far as videos like this, because it helps me to stay on track. I can write down like quick little snippets, like talk about such and such, and maybe give a quick little example or whatever. And, that way I can look at it and go down. And then sometimes what's funny is that I'll do that thinking, okay, it's going to be in this exact order because it's practical. And then when I actually get to the list, all of a sudden it's like, boop, 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 boop. It's in a different order. And I'm like, well, geez, thanks. But I trust in the guidance, and it just flows, and it actually works out even better. So, it's just one of those things where it's like, we have to learn who our false guide is. We have to learn who a true guide is. We have so much that we got to learn, but that's taught really pretty much in mediumship or spirituality, just a few type of ways. Other types of beliefs and stuff, don't even care, don't even acknowledge it, don't even, or it's scary, or it's bad, or whatever the reasoning is, basically. And so, but that's where I'm really relearning again, because I've really got to figure this out, I got to know, is it just something to cleanse? Like, after this video, I'll be doing that for myself. I'll be figuring out, okay, is this something that I need to cleanse? Is this something I need to add, figure out, do, blah, 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 whatever the reason it is, and work on it. But like I was saying, point is, as you can see, where my thinking process is, how I do things, I do go by how I feel. I do try to be like, okay, I'll first go by how it feels, and then I'll be trying to be like, okay, does it harm somebody? Is it going to harm anything? Does it seem like it's light? Is it okay? Is it good? And I try to go through different things to try to make sure, as best as I humanly error-prone can, because I'm going to make mistakes 24/7. I am human. And so, I try to sit down and I try to focus, and I'm like, okay, is it harmful? What is it? Because I try to be as mindful as I can. I'm not perfect. And in fact, while I'm going through that, I'm learning as well. And I'm sharing what I'm learning too. Maybe somebody has already learned that. Maybe somebody hasn't yet. Whatever. It's all learning. It's all our experiences. So, but yeah, so I try my best to decipher as best as I can. And for me, my past experiences, because again, being a medium, I dabble into trying to be like, okay, is this real? What can I do with it? You know, blah, blah, blah. Is it good? Is it this? Is it that? Should there be a label on it? Should it just be neutral? Should it be, what should it be? And from my past experiences, but at the same time, I can't say that either, because even though no matter what's there, I'm tapping into the energies of, and I'm trying to dig into. So my experiences whenever I was working with, it was online. It would be like full moon things. You let go, blah, blah, blah. But we would be working with like certain goddesses and things like that. And for me, because we even with ascended masters and different ones as well. It wasn't just goddesses and gods. My experiences though with the Wiccan and things like that, for me, has been, it seems to be more on an evil side. I've always, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong and bad, and I'm not, no. For me, because like I said, I like to, because I'm a medium, I can see them, I can communicate with them, I can this, I can that, blah, blah, blah. So again, for me, all right? For others, it might be perfect for their spirit and for what they're meant to work with and all of that. For me though, I think in my past lifetime, I did things like that. It could have been pagan, it could have been druid. I don't know. It was something for sure, because I've had vivid visions and different things that I know from my past lifetimes, I mean to say. This lifetime, though, I don't feel it's fitting. I feel I'm more of a celestial type, angelic, unicorn, elementals, like unicorns, mermaids, fairies, nature spirits, nature, animals, blah, 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 that type of stuff. Now, they would be like, okay, well, yeah, that's what we do, but we're practicing, but the practicing with the beings, that part, I had to cut the line. I had to be like, okay, the only one was Goddess Oshun. I didn't get a bad, Freya, Goddess, Hecate, I don't know how to pronounce it, Gatekeeper, Goddess Morgana, there's a bunch of names for her. Those two chose me. Freya did too. I worked with Oshun, but she did choose me as well. And there's a reason why I'm saying that. Anyway, so they're underground, a lot of them. Even Hades, I've seen him. There's a story about that. There's stories of Zeus and other things. So not every one of them have been a bad experience and all of that. But when it came to, what is it, the triple goddess or whatever they say, those three were not human looking at all. They looked like vampires. Yeah, they actually looked exactly like three vampires. And my experiences with vampires is they're about, I'd say 4 foot tall. They're little. No hair, no face, no nothing. Just all black, like a shadow. Human-ish. Like body and, things like that. But there's just no, like, it's just round. Everything's black. There's no hair, no nails, no nothing. Just black. And about 4 foot tall. But like I said, it just seems, they came rushing at me, like ready to attack me. However, I invoked that because I was sitting there like, yeah, what if they're real? What if they're not? Like that kind of thing. And then they were like, oh yeah? And so they came up like that. And so, but I've seen other ones that were human looking, but I guess it depends on which, what's it called, pantheon or whatever, which type of path and this, that, and the other. What is it, Goddess Brigitte? Yeah, Brigitte. or Bridget, I think is another way they say. Um, I had good connections with her as well, and she will be Celtic, if I remember correct. Um, I think Morgana is Celtic. I don't know about Hecate, I'm sorry. But anyway, but yeah, so there's just some that I feel that sneaky and evil into the practice. Not that the person's evil. I just think they're not aware, is what I'm saying. Um, and you would think that Morgana and the other one, Hecate, like I said, it's Hecate, if I remember correct. She, if I remember correct, is a gatekeeper. Basically, like what I do. With me being a medium, I communicate and deal with the spirits in different realms, and it's not just spirits; it's different realms. Okay, so basically, she chose me because of the line of work and everything that I do, because I'm a medium. And then, what was funny is Morgana, because I believe she was giving me a warning message. I know she was, in fact. So, quick story with this. Divorced, blah, blah, blah. Been living in my mobile home for 10 years with my son, by myself, with him. And, no, not 10 years. Was it? No. It would be so many amount of years, like 5, 7 years or whatever. And then before that was a few years at an apartment. Okay. Yeah, it was at my mom's, then at an apartment, and then on my parents' property in a mobile home, which I might end up having to be forced to move back into over there. And so, but I was single for 10 years. And so at that time, I was creating things like writing, angelic sigils and, things like that to attract my twin flame. And so at that time, there was not much awareness or knowledge or anything at that time of what they were. All it was pretty much that's your other half. That's not a soulmate. Soulmate is for everybody, because we were also taught soulmates before the twin flame thing. And it was either like true love or soulmates, things like that. And so spirituality and everything has expanded even more, or more into the masses, I guess you would say. Because I've been seeing a lot of videos too, like from way back when, where a lot of psychiatrists and all kinds of people were doing spirituality things, like what I'm talking about. And I'm like, okay, wow. But anyway, so this was before AI and all that kind of stuff too. Anyway, and so it's like, the more that I piece and everything together, and then forgot where I was saying. Oh, come on. I know I was talking about her and my story, but I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, anyway, I apologize. If I can remember, if I edit the video and I remember to, then I'll add it on the screen or description or something. If I do. If not, ask me, tell me the timestamp, and then I'll rewatch it, and then I'll go ahead and say it. All right, to your comment. Anyway. I'm wanting to see if we can see any of these fireworks. It doesn't sound that much this year, but I want to see if we can see any. So I'm going to try to wrap this up quickly, and then I'll try to get some video of it, if we can even see it. I don't know. We might not. Okay, so with her, basically, like I said, I had been single that long, and I was creating, for my twin flame. Yeah, I was describing all of that twin flame stuff. I got too deep into that. Anyway, I finally found energetically my twin soul. Now, we haven't met in person. We haven't spoke. We haven't spoke, basically. It's just in the energetic connections, but we've been through some phases. And this type of stuff wasn't taught back then. And so I was last left with the impression of you do community service together, and it's a very deep soul level love, blah, 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 but not these phases, and you're doing the actual inner healing, and you're going through these different steps and processes and blah, 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 that can lead up to reuniting, but it's not necessarily going to happen every lifetime. But the first step is awakening, and then, the other phases. And so I'm teaching this now, but Like I said, at the time back then, I didn't know any of this kind of stuff. So I do have a course. If you're wanting to learn this kind of stuff, I do have a course for that. It's just going to depend on whether it's description, on my pages, wherever you're seeing this video at. Anyway, because there's different social media, but I won't, this part won't be on Instagram and all that. Anyway, so I'm sitting there, like, okay, I really, but I remember saying too, it's either going to be twin soul or soulmate, basically, because I was hoping it would be twin flame relationship. Yeah, because that was before learning what twin soul was and all that, so it's called twin flame. Anyway, twin soul is, the print. Okay, I'm going to go too far. Anyways, so basically, when I met the person that I did not want to meet, but happened, I think like the first week, all of a sudden I got this like clear vision of me being like a duchess and him being a Dutch, whatever it was called back then. But he was dishonest, and it's not that I was dishonest, I just saw through his BS. And so he was always trying to get with me in that lifetime, and I was just like, get away, stay away. That's not happening, and that's what it felt like again in this lifetime too. And it should have been that way. Anyways, so I was confused a little bit at that time. I was like, is this my twin flame? Is this, a soulmate? Is this... No, it was the most toxic person to ever be on my life to learn from. Anyway, that goes into the story of what happened. So before meeting him and all of that, back to Goddess Morgana. Like I said, there's so many names for her. All of a sudden, I'm just sleeping, and I'm seeing this feather. I don't remember what all was said. I don't remember all the previous and this part I remember. So I'm seeing the black feather, and it's like hovering. And then all of a sudden, like, she takes my hand, my ring finger, and she's literally shoving in. And trust me, it hurt severely. She's shoving in the raven feather. And I'm like, literally waking up in the dream, eyes rolling because it's such excruciating pain. And then an alarm going off. I don't want it to mess with the phone. Anyway, and so I'm in this most excruciating pain. And she's just digging it deeper, digging it deeper, digging it deeper, all the way down. And finally it stops and everything, and then I wake up. And because like I said, I'm waking up, falling back asleep because of the pain. Waking up, blah, blah, blah. I've had dreams like that only a few times in my life, and it's not fun. No, it is not. What do they call it? I can't remember the name right now. Oh my gosh. Out of body or whatever they want to call it. It's not any of that. This is real. And here we go to the why. So I'm stuck with this, and I'm like, what message is she giving? Is she giving me a warning? Like, what's going on here, Like, am I going to die? Like, what is it, Because she's basically a messenger as well. And so, literally, yeah, I could have lost my life with this one, and probably still could, because that one loves to slowly calculate and plan and, this, that, and the other. And so soon I'm going to have to pursue, after however many days, I'll have to pursue trying to get my vehicle back, because, that is what we're supposed to be living on while I'm waiting for this, my son's SSI for me to get provider pay and this, that, and the other. Like, he literally is stopping us and making us go homeless is what he's doing. So he's causing harm nonstop to us. He's been this horrendous dude since day one that should have never entered my life. Anyway, just like a past lifetime that we had together. I knew he was trouble then. I kept him away at a distance. That's what I was trying to do in this lifetime too. But it didn't happen. Anyway, so that was a warning when she put that feather in my finger, and basically like, you're going to lose your life. You need to get away from this dude. Do not allow this to happen. Blah, blah, blah. Because we had just met, I think, shortly right after that dream. And And then, because for the longest, I was just like, oh my God, am I cursed? Am I going to have bad luck with love? You know, like, what's going on? Is this bad? You know, but I really think that's what it was. I think that hopefully, yes, I would prefer to be with my twin flame. I do. I mean, who wouldn't? Of course, you know. If that can't happen, though, I have to be realistic, and then whoever does want to enter my life and who does want to be with me is going to be with me. And I will probably be like, okay, you know, like, I want to be with my twin flame, but my twin flame's just like, you know, I'm doing my thing, whatever he wants to do, you know, that's on him. But I have to continue to work on my spirit, my soul, you know, and other things as well to be able to, if we reunite or not, you know. So it's all about inner healing, and, you know, like I said, it's a very spiritual path for twin flames and things like that. And so you do, while you work on yourself and you're getting better and this and the other, when you do get to the reuniting, if you get to that point, then you can actually do service work together and things like that. And it might not be the same thing. It might be something similar, you know, but at least you're more healed and whole and more ready to do that. Nobody is 100% healed and whole. I'm sorry. You can be doing this work 24/7 and you can think that you're going to reach the highest level of ascension and whatever you want to call it. But in reality, we're still going to have things that we have to still work on. It's just we have to be mindful, aware, and work on things and get to certain stages. You know, it's a process, but it's not what you would think. Same thing like with cleansing. Like I tell everybody, you know, because I'm a mediumship teacher too. Like I tell everybody, you don't sit there and cleanse one time and think it's done. Because that's what people were taught back then. And I've watched numerous shows. They just go around, boop, 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 you know, the stage and all that, you know. Oh, it's done. No, it's not done. There's going to be things that unlock. There's going to be a lot that's on your path. When it's time to unlock and ready to, then it'll be removed or whatever process you got to do. Until then, you're going to be dealing with it until whatever is learned or whatever to why it's still there, you know. So that could be paranormal. That could be anything. You know, yes, you're going to get a bath, Mike. Anyway, I'm probably going to have to do another video. It's already late, so I'm going to probably, when I feel better, I'm probably going to take some vitamins or whatever. But I want to see if we can film anything right now. I will probably write down from this video more that I need to say and do. And then I will probably make a part 2 for this video. And then if you have any questions in the meantime, before I make the next video, if I get to, just leave a comment and let me know. And then if not, then I was just guided not to make part 2. So there is either going to be a part 2 or not. I know, Mike, hold on. So I apologize. I'm sorry. This is the life I have to live.